Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 25th day of February, getting close towards the end of the month into March Madness. Got a great show with you on for tonight. Got Coach Kevin Carroll coming back here to talk a little bit college football, get his thoughts on the Vols. Joey Aguilar got denied there. That was a story late last week there by the judge. So Tennessee's going to have to do something else at quarterback. Also got a little Titans talk in with him as well. Victor Wembanyama, I tell you what, this Spurs team's looking like just a powerhouse, man. I think they're probably the favorites to win it this year. They may win it in years in the future. I'll talk about that. A few combine notes. I tell you, Trent Williams, that's an interesting story out of San Francisco. What are they going to do about left tackle? Stand by. We'll take our first and only break. I'll be back here momentarily, and we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Alrighty, then I'm back here live on all links. Like I said before the break here, a lot of talk about a lot of buzz around the NFL Combine. It's more than just a combine now. It's a place where general managers, reporters, coaches go to meet up. A lot of willing and dealing. Now, technically, we don't have the first new year coming up for 2 weeks from the day. 2 weeks from the day, free agency will start at midnight. Today is Wednesday. So I want to say it's March 11th. We'll have that to start here. And anyways, a lot of stories have came out in the NFL. Particularly, there's a story out of San Francisco, Trent Williams. And let me read this so I'll make sure I get all my ducks in a row here. Listen, the guy is a dominant left tackle. Williams is a player that he is owed quite a bit of money here. They're going to have to do some restructuring of his contract. Looking at it, he is 37, entering final year of his deal. This is off Google. This is multiple sources here put together. That little Google AI thing, Entering the final year of his deal, $38.84 billion cap hit with no guaranteed salary. A $10 million option bonus is due by April 1st, increasing urgency for restructure. Financial impact, releasing him would create $34 million in dead cap charge, but only save about $4.7 million on the cap space, making a trade or restructure more likely than a straight out cut. Listen, we saw what he did last year, Williams. They can't block anybody without him. We saw the difference opening week. San Francisco wins at home against Seattle. We saw the very last game of the season. Could not hardly get a snap off. And of course, towards the end of the season, we don't know how healthy he was, but Seattle got the best of them. They dominated them again in the playoffs. So you could see the difference. Brock Purdy with Trent Williams, Brock Purdy without Trent Williams. Trent Williams, 37 years old, got a lot of injuries. Here's my thing. I mean, you look at all the picks that they had. Remember, they didn't make the playoffs year before last because Purdy got hurt and whatnot. We saw what Mac Jones did. We saw the fact that they may very well, and I'm saying this right now, they very well may get a big offer from other teams to go after Mac Jones. I saw how effective he was there as a starter. This guy's got new life. So they're going to have some more draft capital. All that being said, when you got guys like, for example, the Miami Hurricanes, this Francis Mayoga, who's projected to be a top 10 pick, this offensive tackle. Mel Kiper's got him projected to be a top 10 pick. Other mocks got him around 7 and whatnot. Some mock draft had him going 5th, I want to say, to the Giants. They can look and possibly move him over to right tackle. This is a big-time player. You got him. And then this other guy, this Caleb Lemieux from Utah, for the most part, he's projected to go a little bit lower there. Ranked as 4th offensive tackle by Mel Kiper Jr. and top 5 by other outlets. Elite mobility, high run, and blocking. So this guy would be good too. My whole point is I would make an aggressive move. I like the young players that they have on that 49er team. They got some cap issues because they're paying Brock Purdy his money. But I would make an aggressive move if I'm San Francisco to go after one of these guys. You know, they're picking late in the first round. I get it. But I'm talking this year's first, this year's second round, next year's first, next year's second round to get to move up to maybe a Tennessee or somebody, to move up to a Giants per se, to move up to a let's see, make sure I got all my ducks in a row here. Yeah. You got a team like Miami that is sitting there with the 11th pick. We talked about last week that Tua's cap hit, the dilemma with him. If you move him, if you cut Tua, $90 million, 50-something, $4 million cap hit. They've already benched him. They're kind of stuck. They've already released to Tyreek Hill. They've released Bradley Chubb. They got some holes to fill. So if you're a Miami, man, could I get a first round and a second round from Miami or from San Francisco this year and a first and second round next year and maybe a young player? Yeah, I might look at that. Because I've got multiple holes to fill on this particular team. I do think that they need to exercise something like that. Now, listen. One mock said this guy could go towards the end of the round. Let me make sure I got his name right. Caleb Lemieux. And folks, listen, I'm going to eventually get my mock draft in. I'm going to do the whole first round. I've just been strapped on time per se. But anyways, projected to be top 20, top 30 or strong early second round choice, known for excellent footwork, 0 sacks allowed in 2020. That's the kind of guy. And these Utah players make pretty good pros here. He was very well coached in the college game. I would really go hard at that now. If he falls to 20th, but look at teams like the Cleveland Browns. They let their whole offensive line go. They're probably wanting to get this guy or Malug or whatever from Miami. So those particular two teams. But if I'm San Francisco, it's the most important position in football other than the quarterback, if you ask me. We saw it in the Super Bowl. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm saying 1,001. I'd much rather get the offensive tackle over the flashy wide receiver any day of the week. Okay? That's a big story because I still think they still somewhat have a window. They still got a window up there in San Francisco. They were one game away with all those injuries from getting the 1 seed. If they win this game at the end of the season, everything changes. Same thing with there was a 3-way race for the 1 seed in the division between the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. So, and a lot of that was based on Trent Williams not playing. So this is going to be an interesting story. to follow as we go along here. Okay, basketball story here. Listen, the Spurs look like a force. I'm telling you, folks, potential team with the best play. Victor Wembanyama, by the way, player, only in year 3. They look like the best team now. They're 3-1 against OKC. They beat Detroit on Monday night. I said by year 3, they would be a playoff team. Year 3 being Victor Wembanyama's third year in the league. Now it's looking like the year 3, they may be a championship favorite right now. If you look at the defense of second year Stephon Castle and, of course, the De'Aaron Fox deal last year, I know this is a league where parity is close to being all-time high. They look real they have a real shot to be the next dynasty or at least a consistent championship threat every year. I can see Wemby being looked at. I'm telling you, I think this is that he has that kind of impact where there's a book called The Jordan Rules. It was a documentary on it with the Pistons, but how to play Jordan because he was dominating so much as a scorer here. If he goes to this side, what does the defense do? It turned out to be a big thing. And like I said, it was a book. It was what the Pistons did, certain defenses that was trying to put in place to stop Michael Jordan. Fast forward a few years later, 1992, Shaquille O'Neal gets drafted. Then you start going into strategies and how to stop Shaq. Do you foul him every time? He's such a low. Do you just run through fouls and make him shoot free throws? Then that didn't work. Then back in 2001, 2002, the NBA changed the rules to allow zone defenses. For some of you younger audiences, they changed the rules to allow zone defense legal in the NBA just to slow Shaq down. I think with his 7'4", 7'5" frame and this skill set that Wembanyama, and you could already see this with guys like Draymond Green and whatnot, they're playing him very physical. Obviously, there's been a lot of foul calls against him. Will the NBA bring back hand checking? I really do think because he's a thin guy, that's the only way you got to rough him up, bring your bigs on him, kind of rough him up a little bit. Will the NBA bring back hand checking if Wembanyama becomes too much of a dominant player? I think that they're coming at that type of force. I think right now, pending injury, they look to be the favorite in my eyes to win the championship in year 3. I knew they'd be good. I didn't think they'd be this good. ESPN put out some analytics stats on him. Let me read this and make sure I got the NBA's hottest team. This is from their X app, NBA Insights. The Spurs, winners of 9 straight, entering in tonight's matchup. They play Toronto tonight. A win would give them their first 10-game winning streak of 2015-2016 when they won 13 in a row, according to ESPN analytics net points metric. Victor Wembanyama has been worth 104.17 defensive net points this season, 33.76 more than the next closest, which is Bam Adebayo. He's a great defender. He can shoot the three. He's quick with his. He's really something. He's causing some type of havoc. And listen, during this winning streak, like I said, they beat Detroit the other day. The other day. They've also beat during this winning streak. They beat Golden State, who they lost to earlier this season. They beat LA. They beat Houston. This team's something, man. Orlando and OKC for the third time out of 4 tries. I think they're legit. Now the key is, can Wembanyama stay healthy through the best of 7 series? That remains to be seen. It's just the way they're winning these games and the teams that they're playing who are taking these games serious. and the fact that they're winning is something to be reckoned with. I do think there is a possibility looking ahead that there could be rule changes for Wembanyama like there were for Shaq. And, of course, rule books written like a Michael Jordan called the Jordan rules. So keep an eye on that. I think it's the biggest story in the NBA right now is the emergence of Wembanyama. And by the way, he's taken because he took the All-Star game so serious, the ratings were way up. Now, I've been trashing NBA, and rightfully so. But one story that's interesting is him and this group of players between Fox and Castle here, how far they can actually go in this upcoming playoff run. I want to say they're in second place. They're about a game out of first place against OKC in the West. Okay, now back to football. I'm going to bring this up here in a few minutes when Coach Kevin Carroll comes on the program. Listen, a lot of talk about Fernando Mendoza being the number one pick. Fernando Mendoza being the unanimous number one pick in the NFL draft. I'm out of Nashville, Tennessee, got a new coaching staff and whatnot. Got Cam Ward, got a lot of money in cap room. A lot of good players are coming available. By the way, I think the Raiders are like $10 million less. They're second. They got like $90 million. And Tennessee has got, you could make the argument they got better high-end players other than, Jeffrey. They got Brock Bowers and Genty and whatnot. But anyways, I was just thinking to myself, because we're at the NFL Combine, we're looking at a guy like Cam Ward. He showed some promise this year. And like I said, I'm going to bring this up with my guest who brought this up during Cam Ward's last year before we were about the draft here in Nashville. Cam Ward, the fact that he does a lot of his plays off script, his biggest plays, a lot of running around. You can see that really don't work in the NFL. Don't have the Lamar Jackson speed and going to put that type of system around him. That he's just not totally sold on him. Now, listen, they got a lot of money. They got Brian DeBall coaching him. And they're going to have some upgrades on offense. I think the line is good. But there is a stat out there. I want to say he's like 8th or 9th in NFL and sacks where he creates his own pressure. In other words, he hangs on to the ball too long. It's not because the pressure is just getting there. He's simply hanging on to the ball too long. So that's a big knock on Ward. And you look at a guy like a Fernando Mendoza, who you saw some of the throws there against Ohio State, per se. Big throws there on fourth down. The fact that they even called that play it might have been a third or fourth down, I can't remember. But the big throw where he hit Charlie Becker down the line, it was a very bold play. I think it was like 3rd and 10 or something like that. Or it might have been 3rd and short, but he threw it like a 20-yard strike. And just a perfect pass to Charlie Becker there. And looking at the big throws, these are NFL-like throws out of the pocket that he made in that Miami game where he just got roughed up like nobody's business. You could tell about the pass rush. Two defenses that are just NFL guys. There's 3 guys that I know that are going to go first round on Ohio State. Caleb Downs, Styles, Downs, and, of course, the other guy who I think is a little overrated, but he's going to go in the first round. And, of course, you got Bain out in Miami, knowing for sure and the other edge rusher very well may go in the first round as well. Reese is the other guy I was thinking of for Ohio State. My point is to all this, if I'm Tennessee and I go up to the general manager there at the Raiders and I say, what do you think about Cam Ward? Because I know that the scouts and other teams are still pretty high on Cam Ward. I mean, look at Brian DeBall. He says Cam Ward was a big reason he came over here. Would you offer Cam Ward and that 4th overall pick straight up for that number 1 pick at Fernando Mendoza? They got a chance to solidify their defense and add a complementary piece, add a Rudin Bang to complement oh God, what is the guy's name? To complement their edge rusher who's wanting a contract or wanting to get out of there, but possibly, could they add another piece there with that 4th overall pick? So that's something that if I'm Tennessee, I at least have that call. I say make the call, but I said, like I said, Max Crosby. You already got your quarterback, and then you add a piece, you add a Downs to, and they really could use a Downs at the number 4 spot there. I mean, he's supposedly that good as a safety there, and they need help on that back end. You could get a player like that, and you've already got your quarterback though. So possibly you get that big defensive player, and there's some high end guys there with Reese, who I think is a little bit overrated, but scouts don't think so. You could get a Bain or Bailey, David Bailey, and some people think Bailey is going to go higher. The edge rusher out of Texas Tech, if you are the Raiders. So that is some food for thought there. And matter of fact, I'm gonna bring in Kevin. You ready? Coach Kevin Carroll, and he's not necessarily a coach, but he'll always be the coach to me, kind of like that TV show coach. Coach Kevin Carroll. Good crowd tonight, buddy. Good to see you.
Man. You hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good there. I always tell everybody here lately, man, I know it may have been a minute since I brought you on, man. I'm only actually doing 3 shows a week, and I'm just doing a lot of recordings, doing the financial issues and everything instead of 5. And one of those shows I record early in the morning on Monday, and I upload it that way. So just giving you a heads up there. Not that I wouldn't avoid it. I've been wanting your opinion on a lot of stuff, brother.
No, it's all good, man.
Huh?
Anytime you need me, just holler.
Yeah. So what is your thoughts on a guy like Fernando Mendoza, man? Is he worthy of that number 1 pick overall? You watch a lot of college football.
Yeah, and I'm actually pretty big on Mendoza, and you know how I am about.
You're pretty picky about these quarterbacks.
Yeah, you know how I am about drafting quarterbacks. I'm not big on drafting quarterbacks, but the fact, people like to knock him because they say he don't have like a lot of gaudy stats or stuff. His stats ain't like out of the world, like say for example Joe Burrow, but he's very efficient. And to me personally, what I like the most about Mendoza is the fact that he doesn't see any need to go for a lot of yards or try to take chances. He stays within the offense and he takes what the defense gives him. I don't know, by watching him through the playoffs, that's what I got from him. He's very, very, very disciplined. He does not take unnecessary chances, and he just takes what the defense gives him, and he plays within the game. So to me, that is like a very high level of intelligence, football IQ, and I think that alone makes him worthy of the pick. He's not going to make these. Now he's a rookie. He's going to make some mistakes, but he's not going to make as many mistakes as your typical rookie would make, because like I said, he's very calculated. He stays within himself. He stays within the offense. He doesn't take unnecessary risk, and the guy is insanely accurate. He is very, very accurate.
Did you see that throw he made? It was on like a 3rd and medium, 3rd and short. It was in the Ohio State game where he hit that Charlie B guy down the side. It was like an Eli. You know what I'm talking about? That throw, right?
Yes, he is so precise. In the games I watched him, I can't tell you how many times I said, man, what a throw. I mean, the guy is very accurate. And like I said, he doesn't take a bunch of big shots all the time, but if it's there, he goes for it. And he does give his receivers, the ones that he knows can win those one-on-ones, those are the ones he goes to on those downfield shots, if you noticed. So yeah, he's very smart. I think he has a chance to be a really good NFL quarterback. So
yeah, I think his comparables are like a Joe Burrow minus the two high end wide receivers.
that's
Burrow's
what I
got,
would say.
yeah,
That's how I would compare him. I would say Joe Burrow is his closest. I don't think he's quite as athletic as Joe Burrow is
right.
when
No.
Joe Burrow's healthy and he's got people blocking for him, But I think like as far as his game, the way he plays, it's very very Joe Burrow-esque to me. And like Joe Burrow's insanely accurate too. So they both kind of are pulling from the same kind of a toolbox, in my opinion.
With the now that you say that answer, I didn't know. I thought you might have that answer, which is good. It sets me up for this question to you. We're having combine this week. A lot of general managers and coaches meet up at the combine. From everything I hear, and one analyst said, I think it was on the Colin. I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, but it may have been somebody else. One of these draft gurus said that the comparisons of a guy like a Fernando Mendoza, say in last year's draft, would be compared to a Cam Ward. Would you just a conversation or a call, whatever you want to call it, would you offer a Raiders that 4 pick and Cam Ward to get Mendoza at 1? Just food for thought.
Oh my God, that's a tricky one because I really like what Cam Ward has progressed into. Yeah. So it's hard for me to give up on him this early. And there's no way you can do that if you're the Titans. I mean, you've invested. But you
don't think that
more. And the comparison.
Mendoza's ceiling's that much higher as Ward,
The comparison's silly to me. I don't think they're the same kind of quarterback. First of all, Mendoza, Burrow, Tom Brady type, and that's just play style. That's not saying he's going to be Tom Brady or Burrow, but Cam Ward is kind of just the opposite. He's the kind of guy that makes plays on like broken plays, extended plays, and stuff like that. He's really good at ad-libbing. I think a closer comparison for Ward would maybe be Patrick Mahomes if we're talking game style. I'm not saying he's as good as Patrick Mahomes, but I'm really interested to see what the new staff does with Cam Ward, honestly, because I think he can be really good if it's done the correct way.
No, I look at what you said pre-draft last year, and he did do a lot of stuff off script last year. There was a stat that I want to say he was one of the top, not the top. He was a rookie last year. Players that allowed himself to be sacked that was not the offensive line, that basically pushed himself into sacks. You see what I'm saying?
I watched a lot of
hanging on to the ball too long.
I watched every single game. I watched every snap. And I know people are saying that he caused himself to get sacked, but I'm gonna be honest. A lot of the stuff I've seen, I didn't think he had an option in a lot of times, because a lot of times they were on him so fast, and then he would step up and he gets just smeared, and there was really nowhere to get rid of the ball to. He didn't have enough time to get rid of the ball in some cases, and some of it was his fault, but I think it's a little overplayed. I don't think it was as much as people are saying, especially the last 10 games. I really think we saw a different Cam Ward the last 10 games or so, and I think he improved quite a bit. He really he impressed me, and he made me feel good about going with him another season at least. Now, am I sold on him yet? Not completely, but I like the direction he's going, and I'd like to see him under better tutelage with the ball and that staff. And, hopefully they get some better players around him through free agency and the draft and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm just telling the audience, folks, I'm not out on Ward. I'm just that much more sold on Mendoza, and you can start the rookie clock all over again per se. That's all my opinion is.
I see what you're saying. And if it came down, like say for example, if Mendoza was in this Mendoza we got right now was in the draft last year, I would absolutely rather have Mendoza. I'm not gonna lie.
But you don't want to give that 4th overall pickup.
Yeah, but after having Cam Ward for a season, now I'm kind of at a roadblock. I don't know if I would rather have Mendoza or not. I like Mendoza, and I believe he has a chance to be good because we know these quarterbacks, none of them are guaranteed. I think he could be good. And see, I was completely out on Ward. He actually earned, in my eyes, the credibility that I'm giving him now. I think he can be a good NFL quarterback under the right tutelage and the right team. I think his work ethic is amazing. I think his leadership is amazing. He's got the intangibles and he's got the talent. He's a talented guy. And I think under better conditions, he can be a really good quarterback. So, I'm excited moving forward with Cam Ward.
Yeah. And something, I couldn't disagree anymore. I mean, or agree anymore. Excuse me. I do think he does have that strong. I do agree. I'm sorry. He does have that very strong work ethic. I see the way that his teammates react to him.
Yeah.
He and look, the ball really did wonders his first few years with Josh Allen going back to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Ward needs to work on his short game, and Josh Allen's came a long way on check downs, throws at the line of scrimmage. Everything can't be a 20-yard strike downfield. Man.
Right. And see, accuracy was Josh Allen's biggest issue. And he just needed a little bit of structure in his offensive scheme, and it fixed that. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking with Cam Ward as well. Just a little bit more structure in the scheme, a little more stability on the offensive line, and some more playmakers that, that aren't going to drop the ball. I would almost be okay with keeping Ridley. I don't think they're going to. If you could get him at a better price, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't think they're going to do that. But if you could get him at a cheaper price, I'd be okay with it.
Would you would you cut him and maybe go after? And I think they're going to cut him. Everything I'm reading, they're going to cut Ridley and save like $15 million to get that much more. They lead the league in cap space.
Right.
So this is a big offseason. 2 weeks from the day this is going to go down, where Tennessee is going to be the floodgates of money. It's going to be open. This is going to be very exciting, man.
Right.
Would you see them possibly making a trade for receiver-rich Chicago Bears, say for like a DJ Moore? Now he's 29, but my philosophy is, why not just get these guys on 2 to 3 year deals? Stop putting all these receivers on 5-year deals. Right. I would love to see them try to maybe trade a 4 pick or something like that for DJ Moore out of Chicago. What's your thoughts on a move like that to be made for a Cam Ward?
It depends on how the draft goes, first of all, because
free agency comes before the draft, though.
Yeah, true. So I'm a hard Ruben Bain guy. Okay. And for more than one reason. Main reason being he fits perfectly for the scheme that Saleh runs. Yeah. And if he reminds you of somebody who he's like this guy, except for he's a better athlete than this guy was, old school guy. He's same size, has similar. Dwight Sweeney 2.0, man. I'm telling you.
From the Colts.
He is Dwight Freeney 2.0.
Because he's a shorter player. He's got shorter arms,
Yes. He plays just like Dwight Freeney, except for he's a better athlete. And he fits perfectly for Robert Saleh's defense. And the reason I'm leaning defense is because you can make the playoffs with a really good defense and an okay offense. And the defense can carry the offense until you get to the playoffs. Yeah. That gives the offense time to develop. And so I'm leaning defense because I know you can win ball games with a good defense, even if your offense is not quite ready. And I think it's going to take longer for the offense to get ready. So for that reason, I don't want to trade that 4th pick. Like I said, I was saying, draft permitting, but you're right, free agency starts. Now, say for example, they could still make a trade at that time and say Bane's off the board, then maybe you consider
But I'm
something.
saying like a 4th-round pick, not a 4th overall pick.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying,
Oh
yeah, for a 4th round, yeah, I'd do it for a 4th round pick, no question.
Oh, there's no way DJ Moore's 29 years old. There's no way.
Yeah, he ain't worth the 4th pick. Yeah.
No. 4th or 5th round pick.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Yeah. That's a feasible thing to do. I think if the Bears would do that, that would be fine. And then you also got free agency. I know Mike Evans is available.
Yeah.
Injury,
well, he's a little older,
maybe an issue. If you could get him at, if you don't have to break the bank to get him, then maybe. And then who Pickens out of Dallas?
He got franchise tag. He's gonna get franchise.
Oh, he is okay. So then that's out the door then. But I'll tell you somebody who's not a receiver, but who I want them to try to get.
Dallas Goddard.
Huh?
He's gonna be a free agent. Goddard from Philadelphia is gonna be a free
agent. I've heard Kittle. I wouldn't mind having Kittle.
Oh, okay. Now he's over long in the tooth though.
He's a quality tight end, and he's got connections with Saleh.
Okay.
And he's a really good blocker as well. He's one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, which is definitely
would be interesting.
Something
they can use the cap space.
Yeah, and he's not the one the one I'm thinking about is another weapon for Cam Ward, besides, and of course Kittle would be a good weapon. But Travis Etienne out of Jacksonville is a free agent.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't mind them trying to get Travis Etienne. I think he would be a good fit for the Titans. We need a versatile guy who can catch passes out of the backfield and run the ball, and I think he'd be perfect for that. And you could probably get him without breaking the bank, I'm assuming. So
he's going to be an outright free agent, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a possibility right there. Because I know people are talking about Jeremiah Love, and don't get me wrong, I'd love to have Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, but I want that edge rusher over Love.
Yeah, me too. And I think he's a good enough player that you could pick him in the top 5. And I think
I love me some Love.
You get your value out of him if you got him out of the top 5. But our needs, we need an edge more than we need that right now. So
yes,
just try to get an edge.
So
and then
on Tony Pollard. You mentioned ETN. I would love to get a Breece Hall, but I think he's going to get some kind of tag too.
Yeah. Walker out of Seattle, free agent. I heard
he's not a good blocker.
They're not going to tag him. The last I heard, they were not tagging him. So
no.
So that would be another.
So you're not really. It sounds like you want to upgrade that running back position.
Yeah, I do, and it's nothing against Pollard. I just think it's wear and tear. He's getting older, and I'm questioning whether he's going to be able to stay healthy. And I just need a guy who's a little more versatile. And I think DeBall wants that at the running back position. I think he wants versatility. So, I think Walker out of Seattle or ETN, either one would probably.
ETN can do both. He's 25.
Either one would probably be good. I think I'm more so leaning ETN because I think he's a little more versatile.
Me too.
But Walker can catch out of the backfield as well, and I'd be okay with either one of them. If we could get either one of them, I'd be happy with that.
I was reading that's one of the knocks on him. He's not the greatest pass catching guy.
Yeah, I've seen him catch some like in the playoffs, and then even in the Super Bowl, I think he caught a pass or two.
Okay.
So like I said, I think he'd be an upgrade from what we got, and definitely running the ball. He's really good as far as just running.
Oh yeah, downhill runner guy.
But I think we'd be okay with him. But ETN is the one I've been saying for the last month or two that, hey, if we can get ETN, that'd be wonderful.
Well, he'd love to shove it to his old team if they let him walk, wouldn't he?
Right.
Playing in the division like that.
Yep.
And Tennessee end up getting him a so what are your thoughts about you know what? When you put Saleh and the ball together, they were my number 2 overall ranking of all the coaches. It was 10 coaches. Yeah. They were my number 2 overall behind, obviously, John Harbaugh going to the Giants. But what would you rank them as far as the other coaching hires in this cycle, man?
The combination is what I really like, and not just them alone. It's the rest of the staff too. I like the fact that they have gone It seems like their theme with this, all these hirings have been experience.
Yes.
They've hired experienced guys everywhere, and they held on to the special teams coach who did a really good job last
Fossil.
year,
Yeah.
which was smart. And
Yes.
they got the
Yes.
defensive
Bradley.
coordinator. Uh, he the defensive coordinator is good too. He's the Legion of Doom guy. I
Mhm.
mean, so they've
Gus
got,
Bradley is his name. Yeah, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
they got good experience in every spot, which I think is what they needed. And I've always said NFL, people, oh, it's going to take 2 or 3 years. No, it don't. It does not take 2 or 3 years in the NFL. Once you get the right people in the right spots, the turnaround can be quick. And
Yeah.
I think the Titans are in a position with the cap space and a decent draft capital. I believe they can have a quick turnaround, and it just depends on my biggest question of the whole team is, I'm still worried about the offensive line, which that seems to be a recurring theme every single season.
Yeah.
I think I said it when they did it, and it still was a wrong move for me when they signed Dan Moore like he was a franchise left tackle, because he
Yeah.
is not a franchise left tackle, and he proved that. I mean, he is just
You
not that.
mentioned the draft. This is something I thought about. This guy was actually listed in one. I've read over a bunch of mock drafts. I'm gonna put one out here in a few weeks, but it's gonna take a minute. There's a guy named Francis Mauga, big guy from Miami. Also,
Yeah,
would
offensive
you
line. Yeah,
consider maybe getting a Bradley Chubb? By the way, he's going to be released by the
right.
Dolphins. Maybe signing him as an edge rusher and taking this guy with the fourth overall pick. I think he'll be available and moving more and move somebody inside and solidify that
Right.
offensive line. Coach, what do you think about that?
That's not a bad a deal actually. I still would rather get Bain though, because
I like Bain too.
I think him
Just
with
throwing
this
the
defense,
hypothetical out there.
it's a huge upgrade to that defense if you get
Yeah,
him. Because the edges are they're not going to. I don't think there's. You don't want to spend the money that's going to be in free agent on the edge.
yeah.
So I want to, in free agency, I want to try to get a receiver, and I want to try to get at least one defensive back. The one I want is Watson out of Kansas City. That's the one I would love to have.
Okay.
I'd settle for Alante Taylor though. I think he's a good
Who's Alante Taylor? Who's he
for
play?
the Saints defense
Okay.
quarterback. He
Yeah.
come out of Tennessee. He come from the Vols, but
Oh, okay.
he had a decent year last year, and he's looking pretty good. He's like a younger guy that is starting to
Well,
come
they
in.
got smoked at corner. I was thinking
Yeah,
about Jamal Dean from Tampa. PFF had him the
yeah,
highest.
that wouldn't be a bad one either. That would be a
Yeah.
good one too. If we could get any one of those three, would be great. And I want to draft one too. The one I'm thinking about is Pond out of Indiana. I think you might be able to get him in the second or third round, maybe.
Oh,
So
that would be great, Coach. Yeah.
yes, I think that would be wonderful if we could get him, because although he's a shorter guy, he's
Yeah.
got very good ball skills, and
He does, don't he?
yeah,
He plays bigger than his height.
right. I think he could be a good. I think he's going to be a good NFL defensive back. So he'd be a good guy to bring in, and he'd probably be able to come in certain situations, and eventually, I think he could be a starter. But yeah, somebody like that. But we got a lot of options. I mean, like I said, free agency and a draft and whatnot. So I
They're
mean,
going to be competitive now. If they play their cards right, I don't know about playoffs, but I was telling Carla, the Mad New Yorker, that it's not unreasonable to be a legitimate playoff, and not a Super Bowl contender, just a playoff contender. Even though the AFC is much more difficult now, particularly this division, he compared it to the SEC of what was, and with the Colts, and of course the Texans and Jacksonville is really good now.
right.
But Tennessee, yeah, man, a lot of money, a lot of coaching there, and I think the line is really from last year to this year. I think the offensive line for Tennessee has really made a big jump in the right direction, if you ask me.
Yeah, they are better. The problem is the left tackle, and that's just that's the one spot you can't really have a problem at. You know what I mean? I think if the defense is where it's supposed to be, they can win some games despite that issue. But it's just like I said, they got to fix that left tackle somehow.
I talked to a guy.
Maybe they can draft somebody at some point, or maybe they get a free agent. I think maybe their best option might be. I'm ready to cut my losses and just like eat that freaking money if I'm being honest. Because
are you that down? I talked to a guy, Ralph Williams, out of Pittsburgh radio in Pittsburgh area, and one of the nickname for Dan Moore was Backdoor Moore.
Right.
You can get around it.
Man, they were saying, oh, well, he plays in a division where he's got all these really good defensive tackle or defensive ends and edge rushers and everything. Well, he didn't block anybody last year.
You said you watch every single. See, I watch a lot of red zone, so I'm gonna just take your word for it, man. I didn't know that.
Look, college football to me, that's my thing. Yeah. It's my free game. I watch that all day. NFL, I exclusively watch the Titans until the playoffs.
And you're saying more.
I watched the rest of it, but I watched every down the Titans played. I watched every game, every down. They're the ones I focus on because I don't want to watch football all day Sunday too. So I focus on the Titans, and college football is my free day. But yeah, I watched all their games, all their snaps, and I just like, damn, Moore he was horrible. He was horrible. I mean, and I hate to get on here.
Backdoor, and so that's a legit.
But you gotta be honest with what your eyes are telling you. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know. Maybe he could play somewhere else. Maybe he could be a right tackle. I don't know, but he don't need to be against the best edge on the other team at any point. It's just,
I was just telling the audience, also one of my rants, that Trent Williams is possibly could get cut, not cut, but maybe traded or restructured. And the 49ers should put together a package to move up to get this Maluga guy. Or there's another tackle out of this guy out of Utah named Caleb Lamalu is also rated pretty high. I think they should be aggressive and maybe get 4 picks up to make a jump to get one of these guys because it's such a big fall off, man. You mentioned left tackle. You saw the 49ers without Trent Williams. They don't look like the same team, man. You saw the Super Bowl, right? They were getting killed out there. What's his name? Campbell?
Yep. And hey, if we could get him, I'd be willing. I might be willing to let go of that 4th pick. I mean, because that would be.
Or maybe use that 2nd round pick and something with it to move in the 1st round and get that tackle and get Bain.
Right. I mean, that would be good too. Yeah, that would be good. Like maybe give them our 1st pick for next season or something, and still be able to
move back up and get that guy, get the tackle from Utah.
Yeah. Or we could get, it's so hard because we need to use free agency and the draft to do this because we just got.
Well, they got the money in free agency, man.
I like us on the D line. I like us at linebacker. Other than the edge rusher thing, we need an edge rusher, but I like us linebacker. The DBs, we definitely need help. It turned out to be okay that we got rid of our other DBs last season because we had some young guys who actually stepped up and didn't look horrible. I mean, they wasn't great, but something we could work with. And, we still need to get 1 or 2 back there, maybe get 1 in free agency and maybe get a left tackle in free agency or draft 1 at some point. I don't know. Like I said, it may take 2 years to get it fully put together, but I think they're on the right track. And if we have a good draft and have good free agency this year, they could actually be knocking on the door to get in the playoffs. It just depends on how everything comes together. So, I'm a little optimistic this season. I don't judge coaches until I actually see them, see what happens, and the situation they're in. I mean, they're not in the best situation. So I just want to see improvement this year. Be better than they were last year.
I think they'll be a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. So better. I do too. I agree.
Players will make a jump, and I think the coaching's gonna. I mean, the Robert Saleh, he was fired on a year where the Jets defense was 3rd overall.
He didn't have a quarterback either.
Didn't have a quarterback. So, To the college game, what's your thoughts about Joey Aguilar getting denied that extra year with Tennessee?
I tell you right now, I'm so sick of eligibility gymnastics that it's driving me nuts. I don't like. I'm sick of it. I
Do you
want
think
them
junior
to
college should count there, Coach,
uh
as a year of eligibility?
give them 6 years, period,
Okay.
and nothing else more than that. And I know this ain't going to happen. 2 transfers, you get one. You get one just in case your coach leaves, and you just get one freebie, and
Okay.
just leave it alone.
What about the medical red shirts and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's another situation. Medical red shirts. You After 6 years, if you're still not playing because of medical, it's just not in the cards for you. I'm
Okay.
sorry. That's just my opinion.
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
if you haven't stayed healthy in 6 years, what's to say you're going to stay healthy in year number 7? It's just it's got to be some kind of limit on it. And I know Aguilar coming back to Tennessee would help them. I know that,
Yeah.
but I'm actually kind of glad that they're not giving him his eligibility.
Okay.
Just because I'm sick of the eligibility gymnastics.
Yeah.
I'm tired of them trying to stay in college.
To get that NIL money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can't make it in the NFL, go to the UFL, whatever.
Right.
Just Canadian Football League. I don't care. And I like Aguilar. I think he's a good character guy. He was great for Tennessee. Um, and I think he would have been good if he came back. He probably would have been better this year. But like I said, I'm ready to move on and get started with the younger guys we got and let them start getting some experience. So it's going to be a competition between George McIntyre and Faison Brandon. And
Who do McIntyre? I was looking him up. He's got a good pedigree. He's a sophomore, or he's a second-year guy. His dad, I want to say, granddad was a coach of Vanderbilt, so
I'm not
he's
sure.
got that coaching background.
One of them's going to transfer. I mean, look, we know this is going to end up happening.
Do you think McIntyre's could possibly beat out Love, or you think Faison, whatever whatchamacallit, can actually win this thing as a true freshman?
Yes, and I'm going to get attacked from this because people don't like to say freshman quarterbacks can come in and play in the SEC.
Well, Underwood did last year from Michigan.
Yeah, I know, and I believe he is a good enough quarterback. Now, I said the same thing against Nico, so people can sit here and say, "Oh, he said the same thing against Nico," and I still stand behind that. Nico had the talent to do it, and I felt he fit perfect in that offense, even though he didn't want to run that offense. But I think Nico's problem was he wasn't mature enough. He wasn't his own man. He did what his daddy told him to, and I think Faison Brandon, and I don't even think Faison Brandon physically is quite as talented as Nico, but he's plenty talented. That's not a knock on him.
Yeah.
That's just a comment. That's a compliment to how talented I believe Nico is. But I think Faison Brandon is better up here. I think he's more grounded. I think he can come in, and I feel like he's more talented than McIntyre. And I think he'll be able to come in and he'll be able to eventually start. Now, how good he does this first year, I don't know. But I believe he's got good weapons around him, and they got a good offensive line. I think they got a chance to be pretty good. If it just depends on how quick. Of course, he came in the spring, which is always a good thing. So he's already learning. He's already getting reps. So I'm really big on Faison Brandon. I watched his I got NFHS where I can watch all the high school playoffs and all the states and everything.
Yeah.
And I watched him win the state championship last year, and I watched him in the playoffs and win the state championship this year. He was actually out all season. Then he came back in the playoffs and led his team to another championship. So he won two in a row. So he's got that championship pedigree. So he can win the big games. I seen him be down 2 or 3 scores and bring his team back and win. Didn't lose his composure. So I mean, and I know college SEC is different animal, and I understand that, but I actually feel pretty good about Brandon coming in and earning the starting position.
Week one, or you think it may be an issue where McIntyre plays early and then Brandon comes in later on in the season?
I think it can be week one. I think it can be week
really?
one.
Brandon's going to come in week one.
I think it can be week one, and if it's not, as soon as McIntyre starts struggling, I think Brandon will probably be in there. Of course, Heupel, and that's saying a lot because Heupel typically don't play the freshmen. So if Brandon is better, he'll play. I mean, and if you do see him week 1, we know that he's better because if Heupel plays a freshman over, a guy that's been there a year or two, and they're both 5 stars. I don't give a crap what the rating system says. As soon as
one of them has McIntyre as a 4, but
as soon as you commit to Tennessee, you lose a star. That's like
I've read that too. That Brandon lost some, but 24/7 still had Brandon as a very high 5-star guy.
He was the number 1 recruit in the entire country in his class. And McIntyre lost a star because he didn't go to a camp or something, during the off season.
Okay. That's interesting.
And then
That's why I like your insight, man. It's good stuff, man.
Our 5-star wide receiver that we just got, his name escapes me at the moment, but he's like a Jeremiah Smith type talent. That guy, he'll come in. I think our offense immediately gets better with this guy, on the field, in addition to what we already got. So that's gonna be pretty good. What was his freaking name? He was committed to LSU for Tristan Keys.
So it's good. It's good to beat out Lane Kiffin in something.
He flipped from LSU to Tennessee, and he signed with the Vols because I think he really wants to play with Brandon. So I believe that's what it is. But he's a big guy, fast, good hands. I mean, he's the kind of athlete that can come in and make a difference immediately. So,
what's your thoughts on Tim Banks getting fired? Was that the right move? What my opinion is. I wanted to move on. I was very proud of Heupel for making that move and not getting too cozy with his coordinators.
Yeah.
Tim Banks and bringing in Jim Knowles on the defensive side. What's your thoughts about that?
I like the hire. I mean, I wasn't like all down on Banks though, due to the circumstance. I mean, he lost what probably was the best corner tandem in the entire nation.
According to NFL mock drafts, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, and that's hard. That is hard to recover from. And I know, there's next man up, no excuses. I mean, you can say that, but I mean that's harder to do than it is to say. I mean, I thought he was in a horrible situation last year, and the entire defense kind of crumbled because of that one weakness. And it kind of sucks for him. I don't think he's a horrible defensive coordinator. I just think circumstantial situations is kind of.
But you're happy for him to hire Knowles.
Yeah. I'm really happy with the hire, and I'm happy that the hire brought some of the guys from Penn State that were really good defensive players off of a really good defense. So that helps. So and I'm glad we got a what's his name back. He went to the draft, and he was going to the draft. I'm having a hard time with these names. Our best linebacker.
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Probably would. Now, this is an interesting story here. I don't know if you caught this, dear Coach. The Vols also, I'm excited for them. Listen, sometimes you got to make, in my opinion, of Tim Banks, by the way, I think Auburn hired him as a secondary coach. This guy's not big broke. I think he'll be fine. But sometimes you just got to make that tough decision. What's best for the organization? This is what really got me excited about Tennessee. Derek Owings, the Tennessee hires a new strength and conditioning coach from Indiana. He is a record-setting $1.2 million for strengthening. That's the best in the country. Did you hear about that story?
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard they got him, and I heard they were looking at somebody else from Indiana as well. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I'm good with getting anybody off of that program because I was really impressed with that team. I mean, the way it was run,
who did you think was honestly, and I know you're a pretty honest guy. I actually picked them as soon as the playoffs started. I picked them to run the table and win the national championship. Did you pick them pre-playoff? I mean, like before not the season, before the playoffs started. I know a lot of people picked Ohio State. They were a trendy pick. I picked Indiana to win it.
My pick was Ohio State simply because I didn't believe that they would beat them again. But I was full on board with if Ohio State loses, then I believe Indiana wins it.
You were that high on Indiana. Okay.
Yeah, that was the position I had. I was like, if I thought it was going to be too tough to beat that talented of a team again. Yeah. But if Ohio State faltered at some point, I felt like Indiana would win it all. But I didn't think, they were going to just go through their first couple opponents the way they did. Now, I knew Miami was going to give them a game because of the matchup. Miami their defense was good, and I felt like they matched up really well with them. Yeah. But, I felt they were that good of a team. And after the playoffs, I was kind of like, maybe they would have beat Ohio State again. But I don't know. I mean,
I'm not high on that quarterback saying I think he
still would have been a tough game. I mean, even if they beat them, it still would have been a tough game. But I was a little more acceptive to them beating them again if they played them. But I still not 100% on that. If they played them again, that would have been a tough game for them to win. But Julian, did he transfer or is he still with Ohio State?
Who's that?
Julian Sane. Their quarterback.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't know if he did or not. I was just.
I don't think he transferred.
I picked him. I picked the Indiana to beat them in the championship game.
Yeah.
That guy. You look. They only scored 14 points against Texas. You look at what I'm going back to picking the Big Ten championship. That's why I picked the Indiana to win the bit. Because I looked at that and I thought to myself, they're putting a lot of hype on a lot of stuff here with this Ohio State team. Right. But Saban's never really had to lead them to a score. There was so much on their defense, and I thought
they were good.
So impressed with Indiana coming into that game. I picked Indiana, and of course, obviously, Indiana comes off as 13-10. That was a great game.
I didn't think Indiana was going to beat them in the Big Ten championship. I was like, I was hoping they did because I didn't want Ohio State to win. And then when I saw that game and Mendoza didn't have huge numbers in that game, but when they needed the plays, he made the plays. And that's what impresses me about him. He comes up big when you need him to, and he plays consistent the entire game. And to me, that trait right there is more important as far as translating to the NFL than any other trait that you're going to get off of a college quarterback. How well does he do in the big moments? Does he stay consistent? Does he do unnecessary things? He don't do that stuff. So he has a chance to be a really good quarterback. So
yeah. And going back to Tennessee, getting that strength and conditioning coach. If you recall, Lane Kiffin gave the strength and conditioning coach a different position and the strength and conditioning, a guy from Alabama, kind of the crazy guy. He's got the very heavy Cajun accent. And if you recall,
Coach, what's his name? He's
called 60 Minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. I like him. He's a character. He's a character.
But look, they got physical. I think that's Tennessee's biggest problem. They did not get physical enough. And Ole Miss did, and they end up beating Georgia.
Right.
So Tennessee needs to get bigger defensively, need to get more physical as a team. So this is huge for Tennessee. And they could be a national championship contender here in the next 2 years or so.
Yeah, they could. They definitely could. They've recruited really well, which I'm starting to think that the portal is the way to build a team now, because it seems like you recruit guys, you develop them for a couple of years, then they transfer.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what Indiana's doing. That's how Indiana built their team, transfers. So that might be the new model to win. So
big physical transfer, great defense.
Yep. Mature players. So, I mean, it's brought parity to college football. So I'm not complaining because I like the fact, under the old system, would we be talking about Indiana winning a national championship right now?
So you do like it. I was going to ask you that also. Do you do like it versus 5 years ago before transfer portal and NIL?
Because it's created parity. I like the fact that anybody has an opportunity. It's not the same 3 or 4 teams every single season.
Right.
So yeah, I
I'm
do.
right there with you. I don't know how much basketball you watch, Coach, but I think college basketball is the best it's been in several years.
Yeah. There's a bunch of good teams. Yeah, there's like a handful of good teams. So I mean, it makes it more interesting for sure. Competition. When your team can't be in it, you want to see good competition. As a sports fan, I think everybody can agree on that. You want to see good competition. If your team's not in it, let's at least get good games. And I mean, who wouldn't want that? So.
Man, we went through the hour. See how fun this is? I mean, I appreciate you coming on the last minute. Anything else you need to add there, Coach?
No, I'm good, man. I think I said pretty much everything I got. But like I said, it all just come right off the top of my head.
You knew the questions I was going to ask. Folks, I didn't pre-send Kevin questions. I just gave you basic. And you kind of knew where I was going. I had some questions wrote down, but it's like I didn't even have to ask, man. This is good stuff, man. I tell you, I'm excited about if you're in Middle Tennessee right now and you're a Tennessee fan or a Titans fan, all that money they've got, you got free agency in 2 weeks. September
is going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, they could build their defense up real quick.
Right, and I think that's the direction they should go. I think get your defense right, and then then let your offense catch up at some point in the season.
Yeah, and another philosophy you can go with, just go with the young defense and add the free agency through offense. Keep your defense cheap. That's kind of what the Rams done.
Yeah. And like I said, that's why you use a draft pick to build the defense mostly. So I want at least get one DB because we just need – that's just the area we need a lot of help.
They get torched. You're right. I play a lot of fantasy. They get I pick against them every week, man.
Right.
Remember JSN? Remember the game he had against the Titans? I had him that week. He had like 40-something fantasy points.
Yeah, that guy's amazing. You give a freaking Gonzalez out of New England freaking because honestly, I thought the JSN was going to get MVP. That was my pick for MVP. I felt like he's just amazing.
Did you pick Seattle to win the Super Bowl? I know I did.
Yeah, I did. I was I was on the slightly win sort of deal. I didn't think
24-20.
I didn't think they were going to absolutely destroy them, but I felt like they had a little bit better. They're a little more balanced, I think. It's just it's hard because May's a good quarterback. I mean, I gotta give him credit, and I actually was not in on him. I didn't think he was They prove you wrong sometimes. It's so hard to get the quarterbacks. It's so hard to pick the guys who are going to be good and who are not going to be good. That is the hardest thing to do. That's why I don't like drafting quarterbacks. So,
well, my guest last week threw a stat out there. Keith Engel, my man, he found a stat here. Since 1967, only 8% of first-round quarterbacks drafted have won a Super Bowl. 8% of first-round quarterbacks drafted have won a Super Bowl since '67. Coach,
that don't surprise me.
Brady and Joe Montana, they were later round picks.
Yeah, that don't surprise me at all. And see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying. I don't like drafting quarterbacks because it's a crapshoot. You never know what's going to happen with these guys, And then you got Caleb Williams. He looked like some throws. I'm like, holy crap, that was a good throw. Then on the next play, he overthrows a guy 10 yards away, 15 yards over his head. I mean,
the easy stuff.
He's not consistent enough.
Well, that's a lot of young quarterbacks. That's a knock on a lot of the young guys. Cam Ward. Yeah.
Cam Ward, he quit missing so much of the easy stuff later in the season, but he was still missing some of them. Yeah. But I mean, he's made some amazing throws too. I really like what I see out of him.
He got some back shoulder in him that I was impressed with towards the end. And that's a hard throw. The back shoulder is very difficult.
Yeah, he's got moxie too, man. He's just like, you can see it in the players around him. They love playing with him.
Where do you rank since James Vanderbilt passed? You mentioned moxie. Where'd you rank Varsity Blues as far as like football movies of, say, like the 90s? And
that movie, I really enjoy that movie. I love that movie. If I'm going like serious football, it's kind of like it's almost a comedy. You know what I mean?
It is a comedy,
It's still a good movie. It's still a good football movie, but shoot. I got to go. Remember the Titans at 1. I got
Okay.
to go with Friday Night Lights at 2.
You love those high school football movies, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I do actually. Woodlawn
Okay.
at 3, and that's a surprise.
People just don't. How come
Have you
people
seen
don't really
Woodlawn?
take to Rudy that
Have you
much?
seen Woodlawn?
No, I have not seen Woodlawn. What year did it
Man,
come out?
one of my best friends at work hadn't seen it, and I told him, I said, I guarantee
What
you.
year did it come out?
Like 2014 or somewhere around there.
Okay.
It wasn't marketed very well, but it's a freaking amazing movie. And my
Okay.
buddy at work,
Is it a
I
true
got him to
story?
watch it, and he was like, "You were right. Yeah, it's based on a true story." My buddy was like, "You were right. That was a really good movie." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It's really good." 4, I'm gonna go The Program. 5,
I love the program.
I'm gonna go Rudy. And
Okay.
I guess 6, I'd go Varsity Blues, and 7, I'd go Gridiron Gang. I'm not going to give my whole list.
Varsity Blues was it was more of a comedy. I liked it. Yeah.
It was good though. It was really good.
Billy Bob, the guy that played Billy Bob's dead. Paul Walker character, the starting quarterback, he's dead now.
Yeah. And I don't know.
That gets you nervous because those guys are close to our age, man.
There's another one that's dead on the show that a lot of people don't know about. Mox's little brother.
Really?
Yeah, he's pronounced dead. He went missing. He went missing when he was like 18 or something like that, and nobody has ever found him.
The actor that played his brother in the movie?
Yes.
So like it's cursed or something.
They pronounced him dead. This has been several years ago, though.
And John Voight's still living. He's tough, ain't he?
Right, I know. Right.
Coach is still living.
John Voight's in Woodlawn too, actually.
I love John Voight.
He plays Bear Bryant. He plays Bear Bryant in Woodlawn.
I'll have to check that out. Okay.
Yeah, hey, trust me. Let me know what you think, because I really think you'll like that movie. It is really good.
That other Junction Boys was good.
Yeah, I like Junction Boys.
You mentioned
Tom
Bear
Berenger did a good job playing Bear Bryant. They give you get that gritty kind of feel to it. They do a really good job. But God, it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
I'm glad you didn't say Any Given Sunday. I thought that was horrible. It was so overrated and
I liked it, but it's not
kind
like
of goofy in it.
Best, in my opinion.
No, I thought it was overrated. I like the actors, but I thought it was over dramatized, and
they did go overboard on a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't argue against that. That's true. They did go overboard on a lot of stuff.
Appreciate you, Coach. I'm over.
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime. Hey, get me on anytime. Get me on one of your panels if you want to with other guys. I'd love to go back and forth with any of them.
Yeah. Hey, man, you can go with the best of them, brother.
Absolutely.
I may
thanks for having me on, dude.
Preseason or something. I'll definitely bring her on between now and maybe if Titans sound somebody big or something big happens, I'll bring you on, man. Between
anytime, just holler, man. I'm up for it. I enjoy doing it.
And if you got something come up and you want to talk on the program, let me know as well.
Okay. Good deal.
All right. Coach Kevin,
have a good one, man.
Everybody. Hold on. Thanks, buddy. See you, man. All right, everybody. I'll be back here tomorrow with the Mad New Yorker, and we'll go over this week's biggest topics. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you then.